Hi, Chris Martenson of Peak Prosperity, and this is your weekly update. It is Friday, September 22nd, 2017. Look, I can tell you about all this stuff going on in the world, but I think I'd have to preface that by saying, at least as far as the markets are concerned, nobody cares. But we should, because here's what we're seeing. It's so fantastic. We're in late bubble dynamics, and what you have in a bubble is the bubble sees prices rise no matter what. So stocks, they went up because the United States stock market went up because what? We got hit by 2 hurricanes. You got Irma, you got Harvey, awful stuff, right? You see the stock market in South Korea went up enormously on the news that North Korea was going to be firing more missiles. And just this week, just last night, we had North Korea saying that, hey, they might just launch a missile out over the Pacific and let off a hydrogen bomb. U.S. stock futures went down for about an hour, recovered all of that by the market open this morning. So when you have situations where prices of things can't connect to fundamentals, welcome to Bubbleville. So we're in this extraordinary bubble. It's going to burst at some point in time. I think we all have that growing sense of fear, if not dread, that like this could be a bad one. And it really could, because the central bankers have done just really dumb things. This week, the news was sort of dominated by the fact that, as expected, the U.S. Federal Reserve got together, met, and decided, hey, we're going to start unwinding our massive balance sheet. So we're going to start undoing some of the effects of quantitative easing, but it's irrelevant because we live in a global world. So if you look at the amount of liquidity still being printed every week, every month by the Bank of Japan, by the European Central Bank, you'll understand that the Federal Reserve's announcement was completely meaningless. Meanwhile, things continue to get more and more difficult for the average person, but better and better for the elites. Hey, that's how the system works, and that's what we're seeing going on. Now, it also must be said that we're seeing really strange effects globally right now around weather, enormous floods across all of Bangladesh, India, places like that. It was remarkable what happened with Maria, the hurricane that just trounced Puerto Rico. Went from Category 1 to 5 in about 15 hours. It's called rapid intensification. Hey, we've seen that in the past, but it looks like we're seeing more of that now. So it's very hard to ignore that level of disruption. We also had a big earthquake in Mexico, just south of Mexico City. So it's almost like Mother Nature is saying, hey, here I am, be aware, and you're going to have to start listening to me. So we're talking about all of this at Peak Prosperity, of course, and the most deep question that comes out of this is, how am I going to be with this information? It's almost existential at this stage, which is, given all the things going on, how do I keep a level head, and what do I do? What kind of a future can I believe in? What am I building towards? Those are the proper questions to be asking, because look, this bubble's going to burst like they all do. The next question is, what do we do with that? How do we rebuild? Where do we invest our time, our money, our effort? And what kind of relationships should we be building to ourselves, to the world around us, to the other people? Those are the most important questions to be asking at this stage. So with that, please come by Peak Prosperity, see how we're talking about that. Very positive, of course, as well as realistic about the world we're in. So with that, I'm Chris Martenson. I will see you next week.